Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Yazid Alfarisi. For the ID number 411-221-406. Now I want to explain the question one of the homework of operating system. So the question one is, what is the difference between Intel i3, i5, i7, i9, and Xeon? So the simple answer of all of them is basically in the number of the cores. So, for example, the i3 have 2 until 4 cores that make it like the budget or the basic CPU. i5 have 4 till 6 cores that make it mainstream. i7 have 6 to 12 cores, make it high-end, and Core i9 have 8 until 24 cores. For now, I want to separate the Xeon first because Xeon itself have a little bit difference between like the usage and the comparison. So for the core series, we call the i3 until i9 is the core series, the Intel core series is basically just uh, simple grading that Intel use that to make it different, to make the difference between like which one is have the higher performance and which one have the the lower performance for the consumer use. But it's not necessary. Uh, but the problem with the CPU itself is the generation matters. So for example, if you compare the E7, the i7, the first for the i7 first generation and the i3 for like 13th generation, then i3 will have like a lot more performance than the i7. And also in the production line, all of the core series basically have the same production line. Now the difference again is basically in the number of the chips. So the wafer itself is basically the same. If you have the same generation, for example, if we're talking about like the 13th generation of the Intel Core, so from the i3 until i9, all of them have the same wafer. Now, in the same wafer, in the production line, usually they will check for the number of the chip that uh, qualified for the qualified from the quality check. So if it pass all the check, then it's passed, and if it's not, then they might be disable the core itself, and that's what make it lower generation. So initially, usually the Intel will make it like everything is i9, and then there will be like 4 cores broken that is gonna become like the i7, and 8 cores broken that is gonna be the i5, and etc. So for the use case for each level, for the entry level, the i3, the use case is basically just basic computing like web browsing, office application, maybe light gaming. But in the recent generation, that i3 itself might be able to do some outstanding performance itself. But there is a disadvantage for the i3. Like they have the lower clock speeds, less cache, and the overclocking. There is no overclocking. The overclocking is disabled by the factory setting. Now we talk about the i5. i5 for most user is the perfect balance. Like it's good for gaming, it's good for productivity, maybe a content creation, and also i5 have a higher clock speeds than i3, and some of the model, for example, like key series, I think, have uh, have the ability to be overclocked if you want. And for most people, the price of the CPU itself is like the that have the best price to performance ratio, because for the most i5 itself, the performance not not necessarily like less than i7. So for most user, i5 is the most recommended. Is the most recommended. Now we're gonna talk about the i7. i7 is what you call a high performance. They usually have like the ability to do like video editing, 3D rendering, and maybe like AAA gaming and streaming. And until the development of the i9, the highest performance of the core series is i7. So I think like I forgot like what is the date of the i9 available to the public market, but technically that's it. So the feature of the i7 is they have the more clock speed and have the significantly more cache than i5. And often they include the more PCIe lanes. Yeah, the more PCIe lanes. Then we talk about the i9. The i9 is what you call the enthusiast, or like the rich people use, because they usually very expensive, and the price to performance ratio is probably not that much. Usually people just use the i7 if you want to have like a normal usage, like just a normal people. But i9 itself have the highest consumer grade performance. They have the bigger caches, the like 20 to 40 megabytes, and the turbo boost itself is the highest level. They always have the hyper threading, and also it can be used for the heavy video editing and maybe AI workloads. If you, for example, doing like training data, i7, i9 is probably what you're gonna use the most. Maybe i9. Now we're gonna talk about the Intel Xeon. Intel Xeon is what you call the workstation CPU, or like the server CPU, usually used by the company to make like engineering and scientific computing, or like probably like the large scale virtualization that they're gonna use in the server, data centers, and etc. Now the price itself is very expensive. The price to chip is significantly higher than the i9, and the core itself can range from 8 to over 60 cores per CPU. It's like is like almost custom made for the development of the company that usually need the custom CPU for the use. So what the features that make it more reliable is they have the what we call the ECC, the error correcting mode memory that support data integrity and support the fast amount of RAM. Because usually server gonna use like a lot of RAM, like 64 gigabytes and more. And they also enhance reliability and stability, and also have the lower clock speed than the customer i9, but the core itself is you already know that they have a lot. Now, for the recommendation, like, do we actually need to have like the higher performance level when we use for something? The answer is no. If you are, for example, if you are like normal user, just general user, again, what you gonna need is probably only i5 and probably even i7. But i9 technically is overkill, and Xeon is not recommended. Why Xeon is not recommended for the customer grade? Now, the different, again, the difference between Intel Core and the Xeon is the ability of the availability of the integrated graphic. So the Intel Core series usually have the integrated graphics inside, but for the Intel Xeon, like most of them, doesn't really have the integrated graphic support because they usually optimize more CPU, I know, more cores in the CPU to make it more faster, more stronger for the data performance. So I think that's enough for the question number one. Thank you.